Hey y'all, Gavin here. This weekend I went to two big tournaments and I top 8'd one of them. It was for a set of QCR Dominus Impulses. I made it into top 8, but as soon as we started playing in the top 8, it was very unfortunate. I just didn't really draw very well game 1 or game 2 against a Yummy player, and we ended up losing. But yeah, without further ado, let's hop into the list. I actually really like this deck a lot. This format feels very high roll or be high roll. So I wanted to play the most variance deck being Vapor Soul. And I had a couple cool deck choices in here I wanted to show off. You have triple Ryzen, triple Madlove, triple Xiaolong, and triple of the best in-engine card in the game right now, Holy Sue. So Holy Sue basically says Snatch Steal or summon out any of your other disruptions. Madlove is a very broken disruption by itself as well, being able to bounce back the monster with the lowest defense. So in the mirror, you could actually keep this on board and you can bounce back their Lupus. It's very, very cool. Holy Sue is very nice. I decided to max out on Xiaolong. Xiaolong, basically, if you can resolve the effect to search off of it, you won the match already. Like, this card is ridiculous, and that's why you want to play as many fires as possible. But the issue is that there's not a lot of good, like, generic fires other than Ash Blossom. So, spoiler alert, the only really good other fire in this main deck is Ash Blossom. And then after that are the bosses. Heavy Borger, the effect of burn is crazy, and Caesar Valius being able to protect itself for non-target pop is also crazy. I ended up Stake Your Souling a lot for these two. Stake Your Soul Reveal an Earth is something that people aren't usually used to because they think that your hand is bad if you do that. But a lot of the time, if I am Stake Your Souling revealing these, I already had access to these because there's no reason to actually Stake Your Soul for Holy Sue if you don't have the attributes. So a lot of the time, this was just a free 5, or this just gave me everything in the engine I needed, or it gave me Caesar Valius and just let me break my opponent's board. Very, very nice. Also, if you Stake Your Soul, reveal a Izuna, it's basically an FTK. So yeah, that is all of the monsters for Vanquish Soul. Next is the K9 package. I actually played this a little different than most people have. I played 3 Izuna, 1 Jokul, and 1 Lupus. Only 5 names. I think it's wrong to play the bigger package of this because half the times I would see like multiple Jokuls in my hand or a Lantern. I was just kind of mad. I didn't really like playing Case. I feel like if the deck is designed around having the bigger K9 package, it's very good. But they feel very win more going first. Like, you don't always need them. And going second, the only one you really want to see is Izuna. So there was no reason to play the bigger package unless, of course, I was doing something like the Triff build or the Milano build where you played like multiple cases and stuff like that. But I felt like I was winning going first anyway because of how powerful this deck was. And going second, I wanted more non-engine in my main deck, which you will see going forward is very good. Jokul was also crazy. You wanted to play a different name because if you can search this off of the Ripper, you also usually have another 5 in hand, so it lets you extend into bigger boards when you're cracking the board. So yeah, that's broken. Oh, also, this card is the craziest card in the game right now. Being able to summon Typhon during your opponent's battle phase is broken. That is all I'm going to say. Next are the non-engine pieces. This is where I think the deck gets very good. Triple Fubulos, triple Ash, double DD Crow, 1 Mag, 1 Phantasme, and 1 Shifter. So the thought process behind this was that I wanted another draw card, and I felt like maining the Perulia was bad because it's only good into the mirror. So I decided to keep the Perulias in the side, which was really good at the tournament I was playing at because I played a lot of mirrors, but it allowed me to not have to brick, especially if it went first, because I feel like cards like Fubulos are very high variance. Or if you're playing them into the matchups, you want to see them. Drawing them are very nice, but if you're going first, you don't really want to like shotgun them. So that's fine. Especially with the amount of Draco Tail I played. If I played as many Draco Tails as I did with the Perulia as my main deck, I don't think I would have done well at all. Ash is just generically good, being able to hit the Charmies that my opponent hits me with. That's the main purpose. There's a couple times you can just like Ash a Izuna. It's just very good defensively, and it's a fire. A lot of the times I will bait my opponent. I will already have the rosin in hand, and I'll go Stake Your Soul for a fire, revealing Ash. They'll like Ash it, Or no, they'll charm me, and then I'll Ash the charm me with it. So yeah, just getting the maximum value, holding what's in my hand. Very, very nice. And then these are probably the most controversial. So Magmut's broken because not only can Magmut search Phantasme, it can also search Caesar, so it gives you whatever attribute you need. Especially it being able to search a dark is like fantastic. DD Crow is broken too. I wouldn't play DD Crow if I couldn't, how do I say, reveal it. It's one of those hand traps where like it's purposely good because it's a dark. It was pretty good all day, being able to hit the Link 1 Snatchy, being able to hit Lupus. They're never resolving Lupus against you. You have so many ways to stop it. Like you have 5 ways to stop them from getting to Lupus. Phantasme was also broken. I wish I would have had 2, but it's fine. I side the other 2. And Shifter basically makes your opponent want to leave. You can play around it pretty well. Your opponent can't. Those are the hand traps. Next are the spells. Triple Stake Your Soul. I already talked about some of the text with this card. This card's fantastic. Also, it says activate once per turn. My opponent negated the activation of it, and I did another one. Rhoda searches Rosin. Start. This card's broken. It got ogred a lot, but hey, this card's broken. Triple Extrav. I felt like this was better than Prosby. 1, you can still kill under it. And 2, being able to get the +1 over the search, I think is pretty good in this deck anyway, because when you're using Prosby in this deck, you basically just want to grab an attribute. But Extrav basically just says you're going to dig even more. The 2 cards in hand in this deck just feels a lot better than the search. It's very hard to describe. A Prosby in this deck, of course, searches the attribute you want, but a +1 in the Rosin deck feels fantastic. There's no better high in the world. Triple attack talents. This was controversial. I wanted to think about, because I'm playing 40 right now, I was considering cutting this, adding a 2 Nib, and then put myself at 41. Nib was on my radar. I think that card is fantastic. But the issue I specifically have with Nib is that I think it's a little too high variance. Because like sometimes they just play around it. If you're playing against a good Vanquishable player, they can set up the whole board they need under 4 anyway. So it needs to be paired, and it needs to be paired well. Because half the time they can just blank your hand traps anyway. So I think this was better solely for the fact that if you're hitting you with blanks, you have so many punishes. Because you have a Zuna, you have this. The punishes in this deck are fantastic. Like it feels like a fighting game. And of course this just fits the theme. 1 Snow Devil. I wasn't really able to get this off as much as I wanted to, but this card's fantastic. Helps beat board breakers. 40 card main deck. Onto the extra. Because we're playing extra, you just max out on the ones you need. This deck doesn't really need its extra deck that much, honestly. Half the games you can win. Like, even if you just summon a Zuna and Jokul, they're big guys. You can just, like, swing with them. So, Triple Rock. This card's fantastic. The text on it, where if you control a Vanquish Soul, they can only attack the monster with the highest attack, is really, really good with into Dragon Tail. Because into that deck, if they don't pop this, you can just Holy Sue later into the turn, have the card on the field, and then you can Snatch Steal one of their monsters. Into Drago Tail, their monsters are bigger than yours, so they have to kill over them. And of course, making Typhon in battle phase is fantastic. SP Little Knight, this card's really good. It's SP. Triple Ripper. One of the reasons I lost in top 8 was because I banished all 3 of these off of next draft, but hey, that's what we take. 1 Werewolf. I wanted to play a Hound too, and the theory was because since I'm on Extrav, I wanted the quick play spell in my side to always be alive. So if I have 2 targets, it's better. But again, I wanted to high roll this as much as possible, and you're not always going to see Extrav. So the idea is that quick play isn't always alive anyway. So what you can do is that you can set up Werewolf and you win, or you just set the quick play spell, and if it's banished off Extrav, it's fine, because half the time the threat of it being there, your opponent's going to play around it. It's kind of like keeping Lacrima in grave, like even if you don't have Trap, because now they're playing around it the whole game. The theory's there. In practice, this wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. It just never came up. There was like one game where it could have, but I couldn't tell if my opponent was baiting it evenly or not. It was just a weird game state. But yeah, I'd do it again. And Hound's fantastic too. I just couldn't find a room. I think I know what I'd cut though, but it's fine. Well, it's on to the next event. 2 Nashes. This card's fantastic. Actually, in the tournament I top 8'd, I only played 1, and this was a Paradise Smasher. But in the next day, I just played double Nash because Paradise doesn't come up as much as I want it to. Silent Honor Arc and Silent Honor Dark. These are your rank up targets for Chaos Nash and a target for Nash Knight. In reality, this should probably just be Hound. But again, on to the next event. And then the casual other rank 5s of Valon and Sky Crisis. This isn't a rank 5, but this is an honorary because you make it off of Typhon half the time. Typhon was the MVP. Again, making this in the end phase against Draco Tail is very nice. In case you didn't know, Lupus can summon itself in any phase, but the effect to XYZ summon is during any. So, as long as they meet the conditions, you can just always make this, which is nice. Untargetable Typhon is just broken. That is the extra deck. There's a couple things. I might go back and play the Prosby variant. I think Prosby is very nice. C107 is one of my favorite cards to play in this deck. It's just very high rolly. But, you know, that card didn't come up as much as going into Sky Crisis. So it is what it is. Onto the side, I wanted to have a lot of hate for Yummy. So I put in Fenrir. There's a lot of like in-engine conflicts to this card. Like if you go into Holy Seal on the opponent's turn. But the idea is that you're not always going to have it. So this is really good. This is just, in my opinion, a better Pankratops. And the OCG, they don't have Pankratops. So we don't know if they would have played with this. Well, they have Pankratops, but they don't have Fenrir. So since they play Pank, I can't tell if they're just not playing this card because they can't, or Pank is actually better. I need to see the data on it. But as a Draco Tail player as well, I love this card. So there's no reason to cut it. Droll. Droll is actually not that bad of a card right now. You can side it into the mirror. You can side it against the other high roll decks. There's an idea where you can side it into Yummy, because even though Droll isn't as good into Yummy as it was into a deck like Mitsu, which is still around, by the way, like you still have to like side for Mitsu. The idea is that Yummy can't really beat you through what you have if they can't get like a surprise. So if you just put them into the theory of they have to hard draw the surprise, and Droll is just like fine against it, because if they activate Engage, they can't get to the surprise afterwards. I think that's really good. So, yeah, I'd put him on to gamble. I think that's fine. Yeah, the only thing you're really scared of in that matchup is surprise. Double Phantasmate, it's searchable. Double Perulia. I just thought 5 Charmings were fine. It helped out better with the side patterns. Thank you for Wadkins for putting me on that. Double Ghost Spell. Again, worked with side patterns. Pretty good in the Yummy. Yeah, nothing really else to say there. Card was really good all weekend. 1 TC Boo, 1 Anti-Spell, and 1 X-Force Release. Again, this card is fantastic. There is an argument this could be the other quick play spell, because what you can do is that you can throw it basically a werewolf on top of another rank 5, which does come up sometimes where like you have access to this card, you want to keep the Ripper. But I don't know if that's win more, because it also doesn't have the pop. There's a lot there that needs to be tested. Anti-spell is because a lot of your lose cons are other spell cards. And like in the Yummy, you want to make sure that they're not on cards. Like if they high roll you with a card like Obedience Gold, this keeps them off of it. Especially since you can play. This is fine. And then TC Boo is also for Yummy. And yeah, that was the list. The deck did like okay. Like the next event I went to, it did fine. It just wasn't a topping deck, so I didn't want to talk about that event too much. But yeah, overall, I really like the deck. I don't know how much more of the deck I'm going to be playing. The deck just feels like it doesn't do what it wants to do every game. You basically have to, you don't have to resolve Raisin, but if you go an entire match without resolving Raisin, you feel it. And maybe I just have to play more Canines. But overall, really like the deck. Wanted to show it off. If you guys end up enjoying this, please let me know. If you guys want to make any suggestions to the deck list, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And if you made it this far, thank you guys so much. All right, peace out.